Welcome back to the Weekly Manga Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all of your favorite ongoing Japanese manga. This week, we're going to deep dive into the top 50 manga on MAL, both by score and users. And we're going to talk about how good or bad a group of manga readers the MAL audience is. All of that, manga news, and more coming right up. Hello again, my name is Bruce. I am the proprietor of the White Gray Black YouTube channel, and this week again, I am joined by my constant co-host, Gautam.
Hello, hello.
So, let's take a look at the top 50 manga on the site, My Anime List. I want to add a couple of little caveats at the start here. We're going to be looking at two different lists. The first one is just the top manga list. This is a mathematically weighted list based on scores and people and the sort of spread of those scores. If something has tons of 10s and tons of 1s, that is kind of weighted against it, as opposed to something that's mostly scored 8, 9, 10. So top manga is just, I guess I would say, a rating of quality, and then the top manga by most popular, that is more simply based on, there's just a list of members following each manga here, and that's pretty much ranked by that. So it's a straight up popularity contest. So the other thing I want to point out is that the MAL audience does not, how do I say this, is not indicative of the greater manga reading audience necessarily. I would say that MAL users generally skew more of people who are really into anime and manga, so that skews more into super fans, less into casual fans, and they also are likely to be a little bit older. I don't know about you, Gautam, but I started looking at and using MAL in 2012, 2013 maybe. It's been around for over 10 years. So
yeah, I've been using it I've had an account forever. I don't use it anymore because I can't be bothered to keep a list updated. It's too much work when you read so much shit.
Yeah. Let me cut out the top here real quick.
So I haven't seen either of any of Mal's lists in forever.
Yeah, I also just haven't really looked at these. I opened the pages obviously and kind of saw what the top 10 is. Didn't really think to talk about it too much, but let's go from 50 to number 1. I think that's more interesting to see, what's up here. Maybe that should be higher, maybe it shouldn't be higher. Let's just look kind of at these first 7 or 8. From 50 up, we have Kozuru Okami. This is what is it? This is called Dog and Boy or something. This is.
Yeah,
I wish you would tell me the thing. I'm going to open up a lot of things.
It's Lone Wolf and Cub. To look at.
Yeah, Lone Wolf and Cub. So Lone Wolf and Cub. 49 is Real Life, which we've both talked about. We both love and think is great. Sayonara Eri, we've lauded that. Natsume Yunichiyo. This is Natsume's Book of Friends. Akira is at 46, interesting, we were just talking about. Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko. This I have not heard about. This is ranked really high with a decent number of things.
Wait, hold on. Go back into that one.
Yeah, this is Yokohama Shopping Log, Yokohama Shopping Trip. This is from the 90s, to mid 2000s.
Okay, no, I haven't read this. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't recognize really anything about that. Yagate Kimi ni Naru. This is Yagakimi, Eventually I Will Become You. This, I think, is a Yuri girl's love. Okay. Yes. Dungeon Meshi is at 43.
Should be higher.
Right. I agree. Bungo Stray Dogs Beast and Veil. And then number 40 is Kono Oto Tamari, which I believe is a musical shonen thing.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so anything in these kind of bottom 10 that kind of stand out, to me, Sayonara Eri feels a little low for how universally lauded it is, and I would say the same with Dungeon Meshi. I would expect Dungeon Meshi to keep rising as the anime premieres.
I don't think Sayonara Eri should even be here. Goodbye Eri shouldn't even be on this list. I think one-shots shouldn't count because...
yeah, okay. I get that.
You can tell a whole story in 70 chapters. I think it's much more difficult to keep a series running and keep it consistent. So I don't think it should be considered among long running series.
Yeah, this is kind of comparing TV shows and movies together, I guess. One shots are, the movies.
Yeah.
they are
Exactly.
kind of different art forms, though they are all manga. So
Yeah. So like I think it's like really hard to keep something consistent for 15 volumes, but I think you can make a consistent and solid one shot with a good theme, and like I don't know. I don't feel like they should be ranked in the same way.
yeah,
At least.
because I mean, of all the one shots I have read, Sayonara Eri is maybe the best, one of the best, but it is ranking
It's really
against
good.
all the series and,
Yeah.
continual stuff. It also doesn't have a movie yet. The Look Back movie I think is coming out in a month or two here now. But yeah.
I'm surprised as to how many of 50 to 40 I actually haven't read.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of weird. Some of
Probably
these
half of
are like I've heard of Lone Wolf and Cub, Natsume Unichijo. I tried to watch the anime years and years ago, but I had not heard of this Yokohama shopping trip. I hadn't heard of this Yuri thing. I have not heard of this Veil. I had not heard of. Or no, is this the one with the blind girl?
No.
Yes, it is. I have read this.
Oh, I thought this.
Small Moments of Life
Okay.
between a police officer and a blind woman. Yeah, I don't know if I've
I'm
read
thinking
all
of
of
a
this.
different one with a blind girl.
This is real. This is a really good one. I read maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, I said still being published. I read this maybe 2 years ago. It's really good. It's very short, kind of and sweet, but yeah, it's
Okay.
a policeman and a blind girl in. It's good. It's definitely yeah.
Well, let's talk about the standouts here and things I think are undeserving of their spot. One, I think Akira should be higher on this list. 46 is, I feel, criminally low for a classic.
Yeah, I think I spoke a little bit about the age thing where Mal users are generally probably more our age, more 30s than, like a 19-year-old kid, probably not on Mal. Akira, I think, is maybe probably just too old even for that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone either, so I get it. Real Life, I'm glad to see in the top 50, though.
I like Real Life a lot.
It deserves
yeah.
it. It's very good.
It's one of the best romance manga I've probably ever read. And it deals with, it is like, is it for me, I think it's one of the only series that does the sort of like, I got transported into a younger boy's body, and then it like addresses that and like deals with it of like, he's a smoker, and he's like, they asked the question in this series of like, is it okay for me with the mind of a 30-year-old guy in the body of 16-year-old me to have a relationship with someone who's 16 years old? Like they address that question and ask it.
And they address that question, and the answer ultimately was no. It's not okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I won't
And they
do
wait,
anything.
and it's so that's spoilers, but
I appreciate that because I think I feel like what a modern reader would want is for him to go for it and date like the girls around him, but he just has like a very strong moral compass in that regard. And I don't know, there's a lot of good character growth too. It's just a very good series.
Two main characters are very good. The little twists along the way. Yeah, I really like Real Life.
Okay, let's talk about what I find egregious is Dungeon Meshi is
Dungeon Meshi
43.
I think this is going to rise
Are you
up.
people smoking crack? What the fuck?
This is
put
top
put this shit in the
25.
top 20. Yeah.
Yeah, top 20,
exactly.
top 25 is probably where I would say this belongs. I do think I wonder, I wish it would show me like change over time where I could see like what it used to be. Because like I can almost guarantee you this probably was not top 50 6 months ago before the anime started, and then
Yeah, it just goes up from here once
yeah.
once more people watch the anime and season 2 comes out and all that stuff.
I think season 2. I think probably actually now is when it'll rise. Is season 1 is going to finish. People are going to be like, "Holy fuck, this is good! I need to consume the rest of it." They're going to go read the manga. They're going to review the manga that way. So I do think if we check back on this in 3 months, it'll probably be 30s. Who knows? Maybe even higher.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right, let's keep going then. Let's do 39 to 30. 39 is Doro Hedoro. 38 is Beck. 37 is Death Note. 36 is Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoku, which is Girls Last Tour.
Girls Last Tour. Okay.
Girls Last Tour, yeah. 35 is Mushishi. 34 is Chainsaw Man. 33 is Hajime no Ippo. 32 is Hunter x Hunter. 31 is One Punch Man, and 30 is Made in Abyss. These I am all familiar with.
This is far more interesting.
Yeah,
to talk about than the last.
I think we're familiar with all of these. Let's start at sort of the bottom 5 here, 39 to 35. Doro Hedoro, Beck, Death Note, Girls Last Tour, and Mushishi. What stands out to you here?
I think prominently Death Note and Mushishi. I think Mushishi is too high. I think it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I'd
It's
put that
very
in my.
low energy kind of series from what I've read and seen of the anime.
But it is something that I can understand the appeal of. It is this like weird ethereal series that is a slice of life kind of. I can definitely see it appealing to a lot of people. I am not one of those people. I just got bored. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I see why it's so well liked. I would put
Yeah.
it way lower.
I would say Dorohedoro here surprises me. I know that this is pretty popular. I tried to read this 2 or 3 years ago, and I found it mostly incomprehensible for about 40% of the time, which made the whole thing very difficult for me to read. I did think that it was an interesting world. I thought that the character stuff was interesting. And I did like all the characters. I just found that, especially visually in a lot of the panels, it's very messy. I found it kind of messy storytelling. But this does have a lot of.
It's weird to say this, but I think that's kind of the appeal.
It is, and it is potentially intentional because the whole thing is very like grunge core,
Yeah.
hyper violence, weirdo type stuff. I should maybe go back and give this a try. The anime I know is really popular. I think this is coasting a lot off that. But yeah, Dorohedoro for me is interesting up here. The other thing I guess I would call out is this feels about right for Death Note for me. What do you think?
I was actually going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect spot for Death Note. It's a very good manga. People have criticisms with it because of how popular it is, so everyone has their Death Note take. But ultimately, it's a really fun and well-written cat and mouse detective story, right?
Like, does it deserve to be in the top 50? Yeah. Does it deserve to be in the top 20? Probably not. Probably
not.
somewhere between 20 and 40 is where I'd put it. So this feels about right to me.
I think it's, despite any grievances people may have with Death Note, it is wildly entertaining.
It is.
I think people can't dispute that.
And it's also sort of iconic in a way that everybody knows about Death Note. And it does some things, especially for people about our age who got into anime. I got into anime around 2008 or so. This is and Death Note was out, and it was the thing that you had to watch. It was the anime. So Beck, I have watched a little bit of the anime. I have not read any of it. I've heard it's really good. I think it's pretty quality. Girls Last Tour, I have not seen or read. Have you consumed that at all?
Yeah, it's not for me. It's a bit depressing.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard that. Okay,
but
let's talk about the next.
I don't think depressing should mean that it shouldn't be in the top 50. But it's not my thing, so I wouldn't put it in my top 50.
Yeah. Let's talk about the next 5 up here. Chainsaw Man, Hajime no Ippo, Hunter x Hunter, One Punch Man, Made in Abyss. This is a pretty star-studded 5 for considering its numbers 30 to 34.
I kind of agree with all of these placings.
You think so?
Aside from Hajime no Ippo, which I think should be, if it should be in the top 100, not in the top 50.
Oh, really? You'd put Hajime no Ippo even lower?
I've read all of it. I think if my opinion matters more than most in this one.
Get in the comments.
Hajime no Ippo, up until the Wall-E fight, was. I said it like the Pixar movie. I don't know.
I was about to say, he fights the Pixar robot?
Yeah.
That sounds sick.
It's really one-sided, man. But yeah, up
Wall-E
until the Wall-E fight.
I bet.
Yeah, well, he kind of does. It turns like a Wall-E. It was kind of grounded up until that point, and then Wall-E was jumping around the boxing ring 10-foot vertical leaps and doing dive bombs on Ippo and shit. Yeah, I don't know. Up until that fight, I would say it's probably deserving of a top 50 spot. But after that, there was just a steep decline in focus. I don't even know if the writer knew what he wanted to do with the story.
It's how many chapters is this? It's like 1,000 chapters or something. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's at 1,200 or 1,300 chapters. So yeah,
it's still interesting, but ultimately, I find it incredibly unfocused and sometimes boring, sometimes frustrating. To read.
How do you feel? Chainsaw Man at 34. I think that feels about right to me. I think it's really good. I think it's really good. I don't think it's a top tier one. We'll see if part 2 raises or lowers our rating of it. I think it's really
I think 34 is great. It's the 34th best manga. That's a good placement.
That's probably right about where it is.
For such a solid and subversive
You're
series.
the Hunter x Hunter fan. So Hunter x Hunter at 32, do you think that's right? Or do you think it deserves higher?
a really complicated question.
Yes, it is.
Because we have to take into account on a meta level how this thing comes out, right? For this particular
or
series,
doesn't, to be fair, or doesn't come out.
yeah, or doesn't come out. Yeah, well said. Also, the art's like inconsistent due to Takashi's health issues.
Or just
so
missing.
it's like
Sometimes there's no art and it's just panels of talking.
it's a really nice turkey. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think if we're only considering writing, then I'd put it in my top 10.
Yeah.
But that's not how this works.
Yeah.
We're considering everything, and unfortunately, I think as much as I hate to do it, we have to consider the meta context of how this is published.
Yeah.
I would put it maybe even lower than 32. Maybe
okay.
But it's still in the top 50.
Yeah.
It's really good though. I don't know. It's hard to say that.
Yeah, it is difficult to judge a manga on when it's really good at one thing. And speaking of judging things that are really good at one thing, One Punch Man at 31. I guess we can pair this up with Hunter x Hunter, right? Hunter x Hunter is a writing powerhouse, and One Punch Man is a visual powerhouse. And the writing in One Punch Man is fine, right? It's good. It's good for what it is. It isn't doing anything really sort of.
I think it's very
nuanced,
deserving of the 31 spot.
I think that's about right. Yeah, I think that this is an interesting pair. Maiden Abyss at 30. You think Maiden Abyss deserves to be this high?
No, I don't.
I've only seen almost all of season 1, and I thought it was really good and interesting. I've heard that it gets kind of darker and more violent. This is something that is like on my plan to read list that I really do want to check out and see what it's like, because a lot of people do like this, and clearly it's a very good read. It's
beautiful.
Popular,
it's beautifully illustrated too, but it has
the world
its
building
issues.
is really cool. Yeah,
I would say the Bone Druid arc. So I think the movie after the first season of the anime, you should watch that. That's like one of the best arcs I've read in manga.
I've heard that's really good. Yeah.
I have issues. I don't like how the author just puts their fetishes in there. Like
I've heard this complaint. Yep, from you and from other people.
Huge lolicon stuff. Really, really takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Like there's like such fucking nuanced and good character writing, and then there is like a chapter where the main character has to take a shit, but there's nowhere to take a shit, so she publicly defecates in an elevator, and I'm like, this is like gross, bro. Like you're just why did we need this at all?
Yeah.
Aside from you being horny.
Cool. So I think those are pretty. I mean, we're pretty aligned in agreement with most of these. I would say this doesn't feel like too much of anything too far out there yet.
You know what, Bruce? Okay, I know you want to pivot off of Maiden Abyss because of the uncomfortable nature of the author's fetishes, but I will say this: it probably deserves its spot, but it's impossible to recommend to human beings.
Yeah, I get that. That's kind of the way. Like my favorite anime is the Monogatari series, and I don't think I don't know if I'd recommend it to anybody. Like,
exactly. It's like tough, right?
I absolutely love it. It is very specific for me specifically and what it does, so I can see that. You just can't recommend it.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Let's do 5 more. So let's go from 29. This is Uchu Kyodai. This is spoilers. Where were we? This is Space Brothers. Is that what this is called?
My friend loves that. I haven't consumed any of it.
Yeah, this has an English name that's not listed for some reason, but yeah. We have, am I even going to read this? 3 Days of Happiness is what this is called in English. I have actually not heard of this.
Sounds like a story about a girl dying. Okay.
Yeah, this is... what is
the
this
Climber.
One? Yes, The Climber. Okay. Koko no Hito, yes. Some of these, Frieren at 26, Nana at 25. Anything here from 29 to 25?
I've only read, of course, Frieren and Nana.
Mm-hmm.
Frieren's a tough one. I think it deserves that spot though.
I think that's I would put it maybe like top 20, but 26 doesn't feel egregious to me.
Yeah. 26 seems reasonable. I read Nana, but it's been so long and I don't remember anything about it. So I shouldn't even weigh in on that.
It's kind of weird that 30 to 40 was like super interesting, really cool. We've read all of these, and then 29 to 25 is like, I've only read one of these. I've not even I've heard of The Climber. I've heard of, I think this is called Space Brothers.
Space Brothers, yeah.
I've not heard of 3 Days of Happiness at all.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have read this. This sucks.
What? Why does it suck?
Okay, we're gonna do spoilers for this one. This is the story, because I don't think I've ever gotten to talk about this, and I've read it and I have really strong feelings about it. This is a story where a guy is like down on his luck, and someone tells him where he can go and like sell the rest of his sell his remaining days for like cash. So they give him like a monetary value of his lifespan. Yeah, I'm going to read it here. Like totaling a meager 300,000 yen. That's like $3,000. He decides to sell the next 30 years of his life for 10,000 yen per year. He's left with only 3 months to live. He goes home with the money, and he's greeted. The store clerk, who's like kind of like a ghost type girl. They like follow each other around until like the last 3 days of his life, and that's when like most of the story takes place. Follows the remaining 3 months of his life as he confronts lingering regrets from the past and discovers what truly gives life value. This is really a compelling story, and then it ends.
To be honest, that has a very interesting premise.
It's super interesting, and it's really well written. The thing that gets me is the ending of this is dog shit. Is absolutely the wrong. They made the wrong choice. You know, sometimes we talk about like
they didn't kill the guy.
Game of Thrones ending. Where it's like, well, they made all the right choices, but they didn't execute it well. This is like, it's executed well, and they made absolutely the wrong choice. No, it's the opposite. All right, spoilers for this. If you don't want to hear this, skip ahead 2 or 3 minutes. They go through these 3 months, and they like come to love each other, and they realize there's value in life, and they have all this sort of revelation of like, yes, life is wonderful and it's worth living. And then they just like both die, and insane to me. Like, the guy just dies like he comes to all these realizations, and right when I think like, okay, I can see where this is going. This is clearly developing in a way that's saying he's going to say, I wish I hadn't sold my life. I wish I was still alive. And then it's either a bittersweet of, but he still dies, but he says it. But no, he's just like, life is worth living, and I've lived a little bit for 3 months, so I'm okay with dying now. Let's die. And they both die. And it's like, it's dog shit. It's so fucking stupid. I hate the end of this.
That's okay. That's a little weird. I thought this was like kind of, analogous to suicide, where
it is
in Brooklyn, like, you know, when people jump off a bridge and survive, they realize like, oh shit, I do not want to do this.
No, you're absolutely right. This is 100% analogous to suicide. He essentially kills himself for $3,000 or whatever, and then I don't know if they necessarily give him a chance to change his mind, but as he's falling at these 3 months, right? He realizes life is worth living. There's beautiful things. This girl, I'm in love with this girl, and she's in love with me. And at the end, he's like, okay, time to die now. It's like, what?
It's like, okay, I got what I wanted out of this.
Yeah. Oh, the English title is I Sold My Life for 10,000 yen per year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate this. It's very well written. I hate the decisions you made. So I understand why it's there. This is one of those like things you see all over Reddit. I get why lots of people like it. It's a gorgeous story. It's told. I just think that like
it's a bleak ending.
Well, it isn't even bleak. It is like it's like an endorsement of suicide. It's like, hey, if you just commit to kill yourself in 3 months and then realize life is beautiful, too bad. You already committed. You just got to die. You can't change your mind. Like, it's so, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like so wrong in its presentation of like suicidal ideation, and that like I absolutely detest it for that. Like I don't think anyone should read this simply because if you get the wrong idea from this, you'll do something dangerous. Like it's like I think it's
the author's intent was that like life is worth living and you don't need to go to extremes. Like hopefully you can find that out from reading a fiction work. But I kind of see what you mean
but
with
the same
guys,
time,
with them still dying at the end, right? It's
it's just one of those like it's completely incongruous to the rest of what the story is trying to tell you, which is it's trying to tell you, don't do this. Life is beautiful. You know, you will meet people. You'll have connections. They're worthwhile. It's worthwhile to live. And then at the end, he just goes, okay, time to die. Let's die now. And it's like that. You just told me everything. You just told me life was worth living. And then you just said, okay, let's die now. I don't know. It's been a while since I read it, but I remember reading it and it left such a bad taste in my mouth. Again, executed beautifully, but just the wrong message for me and for everyone, I think. So,
well, I'll take your word. I don't think I'll ever read that. It sounds really depressing.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else in sort of 26 to 30 there?
No, cool. But we have to go off.
Yeah, I had to pop off on that one because I absolutely detest it.
No. I'm saying we have to go off in our next set here.
Yeah, next set is going to be interesting. I definitely know what we're going to talk about. So 24 is Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind. Akatsuki no Yona. Haikyuu at 22. Koei no Katachi, and Three Gatsu no Lion at 20. This is a powerhouse 5. This is probably two things I would maybe put in top 10 in 20 to 24. I think Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, which if you're interested in that series, Gautam and I last year did a full deep dive read through of all 7 volumes. I think Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind is one of the greatest pieces of media I have ever consumed. That would probably be my number 1 or 2 manga on this list. So I think this is terribly
absolutely low. Tripping on 24 is criminally low. This should be number 1. That flat out, I'll say it, like put it as number 1, and that is where it should be. Nausicaa
if it was top 5, I would forgive it. Like I think that's even top 10. I would be like, okay, it's maybe better than some of these others, but like 24 is criminally low.
I think on like a list with everyone's opinions, I think it should be number 1. But on my personal list, I'd put it at number 2.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think this would probably be number 1 or 2 for me also. I think again, this is one of those things where everyone watched the movie and go, oh, that was a good movie. And then the people who went and read it are like, this is really good. I think, again, it skews probably a little bit older. It's also like substantially longer if you actually like have bought it and looked at it. It takes a long time to read. So
it's like complex, nuanced, and at no point did I ever feel like any of the plot points were horseshit. Like
it's no point. One of the most amazing environmentalist stories. Yeah, with again maybe one of the most nuanced stories. Like I said, I think this is one of the greatest pieces of art I've ever consumed. And again, if you were listening to this and you were interested, I would say go buy it, give it a read, check out our discussions of each volume. They're like almost 2. They're about an hour and a half each. The last one I think is like 2 hours and change, because the last one is there's some deep stuff in there. I know some of you maybe have already checked it out, so thank you for that.
Let's not talk too long on it because we have already done so. But,
we have done so for almost 10 hours. So
I'll say you're on point. This is like the best environmental story.
I think this deserves to be top 5 easy. Akatsuki no Yona, I have not read Yona of the Dawn. I've heard this is really good. This is on my plan to read list. Haikyuu, I like. I don't know about 22. 22 is generous, but this is at least partially mathematically based on popularity, and Haikyuu is very popular. So
I've seen 3 seasons of the anime. I think it's the best sports anime I've seen, but I don't know if the manga it lives up to the anime.
I think it does. I think the manga is. I would say this is. I would say the like. As far as action quality of like the matches, I think this is on par with like One Punch Man, like physical fight action. I think Haikyuu is the best sports action I've ever seen. It's amazing. I think it's so good.
I'm missing out on the motion of the anime brings.
The anime is really good. Is the problem? It's like even
the
better.
Yelling. I love the yelling. It hypes me up, and it's not the manga's fault. It's missing that stuff. It can't emulate it. It's just like. Weirdly, this seems like something that works better in anime form.
And it helps that... who does that anime? We're on Mal. We can get straight to the anime.
Was it Bones? I don't know.
Is it Bones or is it... Does it not have adaptation? Production IG. Yeah.
IG, okay.
And this is probably maybe like the best thing they've ever done. Yeah, their adaptation of it is amazing. It's good. 22 is like maybe a little bit high, but I think it's about, it's like...
it's a little bit high.
I do think this is, I think people hype up stuff like Hajime no Ippo and Ashita no Joe might show up here. I'm not sure. I think Haikyuu is probably the best sports manga like ever, just from a visual standpoint especially. So
I think there is something special about sports manga that it makes people interested in the sport itself, and and getting into sports changes your life for the better. So I think a lot of people can point to their source of inspiration and say, this positively impacted my life in a huge way.
Yeah.
So it deserves to be very high. And for that reason, I can very much see Haikyuu being in 20.
Totally see it. Koei no Katachi, I think, is great. I think 21 is probably about right. I would put it maybe a little higher personally. I really, really like the series. I think it's awesome. Three Gatsu no Lion. I've watched the anime of this.
I'd leave Koei no Katachi there.
I think it's
because I think it had kind of a weak ending, but the rest of it was so fucking good that
it's really, really good. Yeah. Also, it's another one of those where it's like the anime movie cuts out some stuff, but it's also really, really well executed.
It was also awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't read Three Gatsu. Tell me about it.
I've only watched the anime, but this is a story about a hyper introverted, essentially anti
Shogi.
yeah shogi player. He like meets a family, and the family struggles, and it's about their interpersonal stuff. This is kind of well known in manga circles as this is like your favorite mangaka's favorite manga. And this
Yeah.
Trigatsu no Lion has like the most like I think it was the end screens for the anime were drawn by like a bunch of the most famous manga authors you've ever seen. Like I know that Arakawa of Full Metal Alchemist fame did one for one of the endings, and like a bunch of manga authors are basically just like, this is my favorite manga.
Did.
Can I please draw something for it?
Like everyone you love has done like one of those frames where March comes in like a lion.
Yeah. So it's very good. I haven't read enough of it to say if this is about right, but I do think it's an incredible story. So yeah.
I haven't read any. It's on my list though.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. This number 19 is, what is this called? This is When They Cry, Episode 8, Twilight of the Golden Witch. What is this? I actually have no idea what this is. Is When They Cry not clue. Higurashi? Isn't it?
Umineko. Oh, I think that is Higurashi.
Is this Higurashi?
Hold
on. Who is this by?
I don't know. Maybe it's not Higurashi.
It is. Yeah, Higurashi.
Okay.
I think I think this is like part 8 of Higurashi.
I can't weigh in on that. I have no idea if that's good or not.
That's 19. Okay. Great teacher Onizuka is at 18, Yotsubato at 17, Kaguya-sama at 16, and there's Ashita no Joe at 15. Hit me with your Yotsubato take. I know this is low for you, probably.
This is low for me, but I think it's like reasonable to put it in the top 17. That's like
I think
that's a premium list. It's getting to be like a premium list, so my complaints don't have value anymore.
Yeah.
In regards to placement, it's like because this is like the best of the best. Yotsuba is the best of the best. It's the best slice of life I've ever read in my life. It's incredibly meaningful and cute and adorable. I would put it in my top 5, but this is a good place for it.
Yeah. How do you feel? Because we've both read and finished Kaguya-sama. 16?
It deserves to be there.
Is that about right?
Yeah. It's the best romance I've read.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is probably the best. I think it is better. Real Life, I guess, is the other one we had a conversation about. This is, I think, better than Real Life overall, and more comedy and more interesting stuff. I think it's very good.
Aka is just hilarious.
Yes. Easily is this the funniest manga I've ever read? Probably. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the funniest, but it's like, it's not the funniest, but it is very funny.
But it's like an 8 out of 10 funny, 9 out of 10 characters, 9 out of 10 story. It's it's so good at everything. It's multifaceted.
Exactly. It's so fucking good.
Yeah. Ashita no Joe, it's a classic. I haven't read it or consumed it, but this is kind of
I haven't either.
It's a classic.
It inspired all of the the fighting stuff.
Have you read or seen any GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka?
Yeah, I have. 100 chapters of GTO. I think it sucks.
I was about to say, from what I have seen of this, it is dated in a way that is uncomfortable for me, I guess, particularly. He seems like a fucking creep most of the time. So
it's like, I think it's like, this is a hot take, given that it's number 18 on the community's list here. Mm-hmm. So please don't dox me or whatever for hating GTO. But I don't know. I don't like GTO at all. I think the teacher is this weird, pervy, like pervs on students creep. The intent is that he connects with these students on a level that the adults around them don't, and he tries harder to understand them and what they're going through because he's been there himself. Mm-hmm. And that's also why he's able to connect with them. And that's he reforms and changes problem students like this. But he's also a piece of shit who wants to get with high school girls. So that's
kind of I think this is from a decade past, a time which is long past where that was less. That just didn't matter. That was just kind of background dressing of like, a 20-something-year-old teacher wants to get with a high school girl. That's normal and classic. And instead, you read it now, and it's like, this is not correct, and it reads creepy. So that was kind of my experience.
I appreciate like the intent. It's just I hate Onizuka.
Yeah, I think this again probably plays into this sort of demographics, right? Like, this for probably people who are maybe like slightly older than us. This is one of those things that came out right when they're getting into anime, 2002. The anime probably came out 2003, 2004, something like that. So Yeah, I think
Yeah,
hit
and
there.
I think you're right. It's also like people who can look past the gag of perpiness and see kind of the emotions it brings to the table, like
Yeah.
the message it brings
And
to the table.
I do think
Would
that from
appreciate
what
it.
I've heard consistently, it's a pretty well written thing, and most of those connections and developments are all really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is hard to look past kind of the dated time it comes from. So
Yeah.
cool. Let's look at 14 to 10. So we have Real at 14, 20th Century Boys at 13, Hoseki no Kuni, that's Land of the Lustrous at 12, Kingdom at 11, and Oyasumi Poon Poon at 10. We're getting into some heavy hitters here.
Okay, you're gonna have to carry us. I haven't read any of these.
Okay, I have read 20th Century Boys. It is very good. It is not my favorite Urasawa work. It is actually maybe my least favorite Urasawa work, but it still
really?
probably
Okay.
deserves to be top 20. I think Monster is better overall, and I liked Billy Bat more because I'm an American, and Billy Bat is very American focused, and also sort of a artistic angle on it. 20th Century Boys is good. This is the golden horse of has not had an anime and will absolutely destroy when it does. It's like easy anime of the year for like 7 years because it's incredible. It's like 250 chapters, 280 chapters, something like that. It is incredibly good. I think almost everything I've read by Urasawa probably deserves to be in the top 20, top 10. So I'm curious to see if Pluto or Monster or anything else shows up in the top 10. Hoseki no
I
Kuni.
think we see Monster up there.
I think it's probably Monster in the top 10. Yeah. I haven't read Kingdom. Everyone loves it. I know that it's good. It's just another 1,000 page
Wildly
thing.
popular. I
Yeah.
also haven't read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have read a little bit of Oyasumi Poon Poon. I think it is very well executed. I think it is another one of those things that is difficult to read because it is sort of about a kind of a sad excuse for a person's life, and the people around him are not supportive as he grows up, and it sucks. And
Like
it's
an abused person, right? Abused kid.
not like physical abuse, but very just sort of like he's kind of like, his dad goes to jail and his uncle smokes and drinks. It's sort of, like he gets ignored and
Yeah.
he's not the brightest kid, and so
He was dealt a bad set of cards.
He was dealt
and
a bad
he's
hand.
not emotionally equipped to deal with that given his upbringing.
Exactly. And it is difficult to read in that way. I do think that it is very, very good. I think that most people who have read and finished it say that it is very good. And I think it probably does deserve to be here at number 10. So
He looks like the little penguin guy, right?
yeah, his whole family is the little like penguin people.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, which is really just a representation of how the main character, how Poon Poon sees himself and his family. It's a little weird, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We're into stuff scoring 9s now. So yeah, I mean, anything else here, or we can move on to the top 10. We can go one by one.
Can you click on Real? I just want to see what that is for real.
Yeah, this is like a seinen about. This is the basketball
No
one of the wheelchair basketball guys, right? But by Inoue.
I have no idea.
He's the slam dunk author. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is ongoing. Cancel everything he does is like ongoing because he hasn't canceled anything.
Sure.
Yeah. This is
He's a legend. He just does stuff when he wants to. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. This is wheelchair basketball manga, which is
Got it.
very, very well written from what I've heard. Okay, all right, let's go one by one and just spend just like a minute or two on. Let's check out number 9. Number 9 is Grand Blue. Okay, I was not expecting.
Hell yeah,
that,
brother!
actually.
That's the funniest one.
I was not expecting that. Is this the funniest manga?
Maybe it's the most I've ever laughed out loud in a manga. I would say Gintama, but I mostly watch that anime.
Yeah.
So in terms of manga I've read, Grand Blue is the funniest. For
Okay.
sure.
I've seen a little bit of this anime. It was pretty good. But I'll trust you on that one. Interesting.
The manga is a lot better.
That feels
I feel.
really high to me for a comedy. Like, can you imagine listing the top 10 movies of all time and number 9 is like, oh, that's just a straight up comedy. Like,
You don't understand how funny Grand
I
Blue
guess I
is,
don't.
dude.
I guess I need to read
It
it.
is very funny.
It's still ongoing, but yeah, I'll check that out. Okay, you ready for number 8?
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Wow. Okay. I didn't expect it to be 8. To be honest,
Did you think it would be higher? I think for public opinion, this is about right. I think less people have read it than have watched it, and I do think that Arakawa is a weaker artist than the anime animators. I guess I would say.
I like even there. I disagree. There have been like paneling comparisons of Full Metal Alchemist when it
she's
was
an
running.
amazing panelist. Yeah.
Yeah, like every page was so much more dense than any shonen running. Like,
well, and it's
singular pages.
And she has this, and I've done a little bit of internal analysis on her stuff in Yomi no Sugai and in Fullmetal Alchemist. She does not like, she's an amazing panelist. So yeah, no, Fullmetal Alchemist is awesome. I maybe would have put it at like 5 or something, like 5 or 6, but 8 is close. I'm not going to give him too much crap for putting it at 8. I do think it's an easy top 10 series though.
I shouldn't give it crap. It is a top 10 list and 8 is an amazing place, but I will. Fuck that. It should be higher.
It's still here. We're gonna double check the anime list because I'm pretty sure it's still number 1. No, it's number 2 now because Fryron passed it, so it is number 2 on the anime list. So
we'll attribute that to recency bias and move on.
Yeah. Okay. Number 7 is Vinland Saga. I've only read the first chapter of this. I know this is good. This is on my plan to read thing. I think from what I hear about people talking about it, this seems pretty expected.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I'd put it that high, but I think it's a very good story about vengeance.
It's also tough, I think, for me personally, if something is ongoing, it's hard for me to rate it higher than something that's finished. I think endings are particularly tough in the manga space when you've been writing a story for years and years. So I think the fact that Vinland Saga doesn't have an ending, I would probably end up rating it lower, even if I was current on it. But yeah, interesting.
I see the point, but I don't know if I agree because I'd still put One Piece at number 1.
Yeah, we'll see where it ends up landing. Okay, let's look at number 6. Number 6 is Slam Dunk. I think that makes sense. This is the most popular sports manga.
Ultra influential.
They released a movie last year, and after there hadn't been a manga chapter published for like 25 years. And
have you read it?
I have not read any of this. No. It's one of those things. It's like there'll be some day where I'll go and read all of Slam Dunk, and I'm sure it's good.
It's like dicey saying hot takes when it gets this high up because I'm going to get some heat. But I don't think it's really worth it for you to read, Bruce.
I don't. Yeah, I it's lower on my plan to read list because I don't think I would love it as much. I'm not that into sports. The sports story of the sort of like build up the team stuff. It's not always my jam. So
it also has the Animal House issue where it is like the progenitor that inspired so many other sports manga in its style, but everyone iterated on it. So what would have been unique to the audience reading in 1990 is not unique to me or you because everyone just used the formula.
Yeah, everything after it is just takes straight from it. So yep.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's very standard fare from what I've read. I read all of this. It's just standard fare, but it was unique at the time.
Well,
which is why it probably deserves a spot.
And from what I've read of Vagabond, I think Inoue just keeps getting better, right? Like I think he's a better storyteller, even though he does maybe less chapters per year and stuff than he was.
I haven't read Vagabond.
But, in 90. God, this came out in 1990. Weird. Okay. Before I reveal the top 5, you don't have to give me all 5 your guesses, but I'm guessing, I think Attack on Titan is in top 5. I think Monster is in top 5.
One Piece,
and then 2 others. I don't know what else. Do you have any guesses? Oh, Berserk. That's that's 4 of our top 5. Can we guess the last one? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, no.
Is it Bleach? Is it Bleach or Naruto?
No possibility. It's either of those.
Okay, well let's look at number 5 and see what it is. There's Monster. Yeah.
Monster. Okay.
That makes sense. Monster is probably my number 2 after Nausicaa. Nausicaa, Monster maybe are just like swap number 1 and number 2. I think Monster is one of the greatest stories ever told, the greatest characters of all time. I think this has the greatest ending in manga of all time. It's beautiful and scary and interesting and thematically perfect. Monster is awesome. I love Monster. So yeah, a little underrated for me personally, but it's great. So
yeah, wait, underrated, but it's 5. You think it should be higher?
I think Monster should be 1 or 2, but
okay. Fair enough.
Okay. So we ready for the next one?
Yeah.
One Piece at 4. I think it's about right. One Piece is great.
Okay.
It has its ups and downs.
No. It totally deserves that spot.
Yeah.
I would put it higher personally, but who cares? It's all just insanely good shit in the top 5 that I can't argue placements because it's like we have 10 out of 10s up here.
Yeah, these are. I mean, yeah, these are all
yeah.
essentially very good. Hard to compare.
Yeah.
So okay, number 3, Vagabond. Okay, that's the one we didn't guess. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So I've read like maybe 20 or 30 chapters of Vagabond. I thought it was excellent. The art in it is gorgeous. This is what I was talking about. I think in a way the author of Slam Dunk and Vagabond, I think he just improved his storytelling and improved his art as time went on. So this makes sense to me. This is also something that I don't think this has been adapted into an anime at all yet. So it makes sense that it's high up here. So
gotcha. Yeah, I have to go through it one of these days. But
I need to read it too. 37 volumes is a lot, though.
That is a lot. Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't realize it'd been. I guess it finished. I thought that this was just on hiatus. I thought the Vagabond was not done. This is saying it's done, but I don't think it is. So.
I don't think it is either.
All right, let's look at number 2.
I think it's like an unfinished work.
Oh,
JoJo.
number 2 is Steel Ball Run JoJo. This is.
I would not have ever guessed that.
This is the part that everyone who has read all of JoJo says is the best part by like a mile. Like even people, like most JoJo fans sort of know. It's like, it's schlocky, it's goofy, whatever. Almost all of them will say Steel Ball Run is the best part of JoJo.
Dude,
so.
I can't even parse this because it's like in my head, JoJo is just like a giant shitpost, and that's why I like it. Like it's a shitpost. It's like a little hammy at all times. But number 2 is like very high.
Number 2 is wild. Yeah, that actually blows me up. So I guess I think number 1's probably Berserk. You want to take a look at it?
It's impossible for it not to.
No, that blows my mind. I guess people were really down on the ending of Attack on Titan, so I'll just call that out because it's not here. But yeah, Berserk 1.
Oh shit! It wasn't in the top 50 at all.
Attack on Titan not in the top 50. Yeah, I think
that's bullshit. That's absolutely.
I think that's
bullshit.
crazy. I think Attack on Titan is a modern masterpiece. But yeah.
No, yeah, that's absolute dog shit that Attack on Titan is not in the top.
I wonder. I think it probably shows up on the top manga going because it's very popular, but we'll see.
Hey, can I give you another salty take of what's not on here that should be?
Oh no, what is it?
Silver Spoon. Where the fuck is it?
Yeah, that's.
Wake up, sheeple.
That's too niche, and also okay.
I don't care. This isn't about numbers.
No.
This is about rating.
I agree, and let me tell you why. Silver Spoon is great. It is wonderful and it is amazing. And the ending of it took like 8 years, and the ending of it is rushed and not very good. Like
Vagabond's not even done.
I think it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, One Piece also isn't done, but I don't know. I get that because Silver Spoon is hyper niche, and it's also the ending of Silver Spoon is not like she literally like took a break to have kids in like the mid 2000s or whatever, and then released like 8 chapters or like 6 chapters over like. It ended like 3 years ago, didn't it? Like, not that...
You're allowed to have this opinion, Bruce, but you have to compromise. It should definitely be in the top 50.
Yeah, maybe. Let me see where it is in ranking.
I've lost a little respect.
Let's see. It's 273. Yeah.
Oh, that is bullshit, bro. Oh my god.
There's so many manga you have to realize. So being in the top,
I like it better than like most of the things we mentioned on that list.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's very good. I do also think it has a really rough ending, like an ending that for me drops it by like a whole point probably. If I think this is a 9.5, I think the ending drops it by.
I think that's insane because the point is not the ending.
Yeah. But let's talk about Berserk real quick because it's up here at the top.
Okay, let's talk about Berserk.
This makes sense to me. I think Berserk is awesome. I think it's excellent. The art is outstanding. The writing is great. This is something that everyone who has ever consumed it says is one of the best things they've ever read. I still need to catch up to it. I have got 100 chapters behind or something. This makes sense. This probably deserves to be in the top 10. For me personally, it would be a little bit lower, but I think this is an easy top 10.
I think it deserves to be like number 10.
Yeah. I do think there's better stuff. And
I don't think it's number 1 because I think everything after the Golden Age arc is not as good as the Golden Age arc, which I think is a small hit on it. But I do like everything after the Golden Age arc because it's just a nice redemption story for Guts.
And it is. It's
definitely top 10 though.
Super good story. Maybe some of the best art. Maybe the best art in the top 10. What else we got here? Yeah, easily the best art in the top 10. Yeah, maybe the best art in the top 20.
It's almost like no contest.
Almost no contest. Yeah. Where's the first thing they can even give this contest on art?
One Punch Man at 31.
It's like One Punch Man at 31. Yeah.
And so Made in Abyss at some parts, but nothing competes.
Yeah.
It just Miura is like insane with what he does.
This makes sense to me. Okay, so that is the top 50 manga by rating. Now let's take.
We took a while on this. Do you want to?
Well, we'll go quick through these. These will be a little bit faster. We'll blaze through them.
Okay. Well, you want to do this instead? You want to just do like the top 20 for these?
Yeah, let's do
take a
25.
little
Let's do
longer.
top 25.
Okay. Okay.
Let's
This is
do
by
30.
popularity.
30 looks interesting. Let's do top 30.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
okay. For context, we are now looking at a top 30 list by just general popularity.
Yes, which I think is just the number of members, I believe, is the only thing that this is looking at. So it's the number of people who like follow or want to know about or just
rated it or
strict
something,
population thing. Let's just go through 30. 30 is Gantz. Gantz is great. I'm glad this is popular. I like Gantz a lot. 29 is Monster. 28 is Komi-san. 27, 20th Century Boys. 26, Steel Ball Run. 25, Koi no Katachi. It's interesting how stuff gets shuffled around here, right? JoJo is number 2 on rating, 26 on popularity.
No, that makes sense. It's funny seeing Komi up here because I forgot it existed.
Yeah, but it was really popular for a couple of years there,
right?
And it picked up a lot of stuff. I'm surprised even to see Monster this high. Like, that ended almost before the internet age, like 2001. Like, and there's still enough people interested in Monster to put it at 29. I think that's cool because I
think anyone who considers themselves an anime fan knows it's good, even if they haven't seen it, if that makes sense. Because they've heard of it.
Yeah. Kono Katachi at 25. I think it's like about the same ranking. Anything else stand out to you here in this little range?
No, not really. These are all the hyper popular ones. I thought Kaguya might have been a little higher on the list. But no, this all makes sense.
Yeah, cool. Let's look at the next 5. Let's see. We've got Fairy Tail at 24, Kaguya-sama at 23, Hunter x Hunter at 22, Tokyo Ghoul Re at 21, Full Metal Alchemist at 20. That's interesting. It's interesting to see stuff that enters in here where it's like, yeah, that's really popular, but not necessarily rated really highly, like Tokyo Ghoul, Fairy Tail. I think we're going to get more of that. I can see coming up. We've got probably I do think we're going to get Bleach and Naruto in this list probably, just because I can't imagine they're not on this list at the top. So
I have to imagine they were hugely popular at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll definitely see them up
It's
there.
been interesting. It's like Fairy Tail is the 24th most popular thing, and it's like a 7.5 rating, which for Mal is like kind of low. So
can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
That's high. That's too high for Fairy Tail.
Well, for popularity,
Fairy Tail
I guess, yeah.
Or wait, the 7.5 is...
Oh, the 7.5 is the rating is too high.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else stand out to you here? Hunter x Hunter, it's interesting that... I feel like this might be more popular, but...
Yeah, no, this all tracks in my head.
Cool.
I'm glad to see FMA is still holding.
Yeah, FMA at 20, Spy Family at 19, Vinland Saga at 18, Promise Neverland 17, Horimiya at 16. That's interesting. There's Bleach up at 15. Interesting to see Horimiya so high. I wouldn't think that's... I mean, I guess that was a really popular rom-com while it was being published. But that's... I mean...
the female demo for Horimiya is enormous.
Yes, that's true. Yep.
It's just like one of those things we as males don't consider is. Like,
I mean, I read
the size of the
40 or 50 chapters of Horimiya. Yeah, I guess that's true. We're underestimating it there. Spy Family and Full Metal Alchemist 1920. That's interesting that Spy Family is in fact more popular.
That's low.
You think for popularity?
I thought Spy Family would be higher than Vinland and Promise Neverland.
And I wonder where Spy Family is on the anime popularity. Adaptation. Okay, anime popularity 69, which is nice.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's interesting. All right, let's keep going. Vinland Saga is 18. No, we already did all this. Bleach. We are doing... Okay, so Vagabond at 14, Death Note at 13. There's Naruto at 12, Jujutsu Kaisen at 11. My Hero Academia at 10. Here's the popular stuff. Okay, anything surprising or interesting here?
Actually, no. This makes perfect sense to me. The anime viewing audience has just grown since when we were younger, reading Bleach and Naruto and stuff. It has boomed to such an extent. It's not surprising seeing Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen be higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen had its first episode 5 years ago? So that's, by anime popularity standards, very recent. Okay.
Yeah, anime manga is bigger than ever.
We're only on the top 9 because I showed number 10. But what do you think's showing up in top 9 here? I think it's One Piece.
One Piece for sure.
Probably Berserk.
I think we see Berserk.
Yeah, I think One Piece, Berserk.
One Punch Man.
You think One Punch Man is going to be up here for popularity?
Certainly. Okay. I have to guess.
I think Demon Slayer shows up here.
Oh, Demon Slayer, yeah, for sure.
I think that's a super popular one. I'm trying to think of what else is like super popular. I don't know, but maybe like Sailor Moon or something could be up
Attack
here.
on Titan. for
Attack
sure.
on Titan, I think that's probably up here. Yeah, that's 5 or 6 of them. So okay, let's look at number 9. Yep, there it is, Demon Slayer. Kimetsu no
Demon
Yaiba.
Slayer makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Next one.
Like,
Oh, Yasumi Pumpu is still very popular. That's surprising to me. I wouldn't think that it's.
yeah. Wow. Okay.
I wouldn't think
for
that this
such
would be so purely popular by members, but
I know. It's surprising. Yeah. I don't. See,
I guess it is.
If this were Japanese, if this was a Japanese demo, I would say maybe Kingdom would be up
Kingdom,
there.
yeah, Kingdom might be
But
up there.
I
I don't
don't
know if
think
English has
Americans-
as many. Yeah, we'll see. Let's look at number
Yeah.
7. Yep, there's One Punch Man.
One Punch. Yep.
That's a good one. It's a good
Makes sense.
popular one. Tokyo Ghoul.
Tokyo
Okay,
Ghoul regular.
Yeah. I was thinking,
I guess the one we saw was Re, right? So it would make
Yeah.
sense that the one before it would be more popular.
Yeah, well, and I was trying to think. I was like, I know there's something else that was, like massively popular in the West that everybody was watching that probably went to go read it. And yeah, Tokyo Ghoul is definitely that thing. So
That makes sense.
cool. Number 5. Oh, that's a surprise one. Solo
Bro,
Leveling.
we wouldn't have even considered.
I never would have
Solo
considered
Leveling.
it. Yeah, but I mean, this makes sense. Solo
Not even a
Leveling
manga.
Solo Leveling was on our manga. Whenever our manga actually was bumping and doing stuff, it was like easy top of the page instantly every time it got posted. So
Oh yeah, for
massive
sure.
upvotes, massive comments. Tons of people followed this. You and I read it all the way through. It's pretty bad for the last third, but it's pretty good for the first third and okay in the middle. So
I can't even speak to the quality. It's just like it's just eating popcorn and drinking beer. Is
Yeah.
what Solo Leveling is. It's
turn
just
your
junk
brain past off. Turn it into
food. It's really pretty.
the
though.
opposite of off. Okay, so ooh, Chainsaw Man. Okay, I would
Makes sense.
I did
Okay,
not
I
expect
forgot.
Chainsaw Man to be that high, but okay, interesting. I mean, it is the it is that manga thing that everyone was talking about before the anime came out. I think the anime, I don't want to say disappointed, but I think because it was just the start and wasn't the whole adaptation, that there's a little bit lost. But when we get the movie, the latest movie, people are going to be more impressed with it, I think. So yeah, this makes sense from the
I
manga
think
angle.
so.
Super popular. So what do we got? Berserk.
Next is One Piece, right?
Berserk, One Piece, Bleach. Is that what this is?
We already saw Bleach.
Oh, do we see Bleach?
So
Yeah.
it's like 15.
Okay, so so One Piece is number 3.
Okay, cool.
So more popular
Makes
than
sense.
it is Attack on Titan. Yeah, Shinjeki no
Yep.
Kyojin at 2, and
yep,
Berserk
yep.
at 1. Cool.
Berserk. Oh, kind of how we called it. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
we guessed most of this. Soul Leveling was surprising. Tokyo Ghoul was what I was looking for, but didn't find. Yeah, this makes sense to me. It's actually surprising to me that Attack on Titan still has more fans here than One Piece does.
I think One Piece was, like, when I started reading, universally either unknown or disliked in the West because of the 4Kids anime.
Yeah.
It hasn't surged in popularity until just like the last 4
And
or
I
5
think that
years.
it's an anime
In the West.
first always type thing, just because there's so much anime to watch. So yeah, the manga.
Yeah.
I think my guess is that One Piece will keep gathering members and Attack on Titan will not, because it's over and it's
For sure.
good.
That's just how it's gonna go. But
Yeah.
I think One Piece fans forget that the context behind One Piece's success is not built on its popularity in the West.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it hit its stride in the US maybe so much later than
Like
it hit it
3
everywhere
years
else.
ago.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Wano arc essentially, I think, kind of made it popular in the West. More popular.
Yeah.
I guess it's already still popular, but yeah. Cool. So that's it for us talking about the top 50 and the top 30. So let's talk about news real quick. There's a little bit of manga news this week. Sanda by Paru Itagaki is ending in 4 more chapters. I can't believe this lasted this long. I thought someone who wrote something as good as Beastars, which I enjoyed but did not read all of, and I thought Sanda was dog shit. So interesting. I don't know.
It was very weird.
It's too weird.
Like it was like I don't know. I gave it like 3 chapters, so I can't even speak
I read
to
like
its quality.
20,
But
and it got weirder and worse. And it's like, I don't know. It was just weird. And the art, it did not work for me on humans. So,
well, you know what? We can say it was a very unique premise.
it was unique.
Because-
Yeah. I mean, it lasted for 2 or 3 years. So,
I also don't know how a human being came up with this premise, but
it is, Paru Itagaki is
there it
very
is.
weird.
Yeah.
Both the Itagakis, I don't remember the name of her dad, but her dad's the Baki author, right?
oh yeah, you're right. Her dad is a Baki author.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, fuck it. Even if Sanda doesn't appeal to me, keep being weird and doing unique shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure something will connect for me.
Yeah. All right, we got some anime stuff. We got Delicious in Dungeon Season 2 announced. That is awesome.
Hell yeah.
If they do another 24 episodes, that'll probably cover all of it. I think what they'll probably do is they'll do 12 or 13, and then they will do a final season to hype that up. That would be my guess. A split core.
Do you think another 24 would cover it? Because I think they may need a movie, is what, for the ending.
Oh, yeah. And they also, Japan also has trended towards doing movies for endings things, and so.
For what it's worth, Delicious in Dungeon ending deserves a movie. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, I don't know, because there's a lot of falling action. I mean, that movie would be like an hour of like the hype kind of action climax, and then like an hour of the stuff of them just like eating. And stuff. Yeah,
I think that's like a 30-minute epilogue. You can
maybe.
But I don't know. I think for people who have been in the whole journey, that 30 minutes will be immensely satisfying too.
I think so too. I mean, that's one of the reasons that Delicious in Dungeon I think is so good, is that it spends a lot of time after the action climax is so good. So the other thing is we did get an official announcement. I think we talked about rumored announcement last week. Official announcement: Gachi Akuta anime officially announced from Studio Bones. This is going to be sick.
Match made in heaven.
Yep, this is going to be good. We're going to I think we're going to catch up on Gachi Akuta as a sort of separate reread thing. We'll maybe talk about more about that later. But Dear Anemone ends on Sunday for us, so that'll be over by the time you're listening to this.
Oh, that guy in the comments was right. He called that.
I think this was an easy call. This was not popular. It was also not good, although the art I think is very good. The art and design in this I think is top notch.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm forgetting which one this is.
Dear Anemone is the one with the evolution stuff. When we talked about chapter 1, I complained.
Evolution Island, right?
Yeah, Evolution Island. I complained about how that's not how fucking evolution works. And they actually kind of addressed it in the later chapters. But I read, 12 chapters of this, I think, before I just dropped it. Really good art. I think this is probably maybe the second best art in the magazine behind Horikoshi in My Hero. A really messy story. Really bad characters, I would say. I did not care or know anyone's name or care about anything they had to do unless they were transformed into something cool.
Was this readership like incredibly low? It wasn't on Jump Plus.
No. This was regular Jump. Its readership and rankings was
I guess that makes sense.
Dead last or close to last most of the time. It did not sell well.
I don't think it's a good fit for Jump. It's like very dark.
I would say it would do better on Jump Plus for sure.
I think so. I think this was a Jump Plus thing that should have been there instead.
Yeah. Let's see. Kanaki Chozo no Moto Tagaki-san. This is more teasing Master Takagi-san. I said Takagi-san. This is where they're married and they have a kid by Inaba Mifumi and Yamamoto Soichiro. That is ending in 5 chapters. Unfortunately, I thought that is better than the original Takagi-san.
Me too.
A lot of the times.
But I think it's a good time for it to end.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
It sounds like Soichiro Yamamoto is all of their stuff is just kind of ending, but they are starting something new. I don't think I wrote that down, but we talked about that last week a little bit.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Spy Family Season 3 anime in production. That'll continue forever.
Okay.
Season 3, I think, is going to start getting into the good shit. I think Season 3 is going to have the bus hijacking and...
Oh, I love that, yeah.
Which is like one of the better arcs, I would say. And then some of this... They might even get to some of the flashback stuff that's going on now. Maybe not that wrong. I think they'll probably do a lot of anime original stuff. And then the last thing...
Lucky for Spy fans, it's like always... the good shit. It's just good.
It's just quality. And then the last thing on the news is Oshinoko, as of yesterday, published its chapter for us Wednesday, is entering its final arc. And so I think that's going to end before the end of the year. There's a lot of big series ending before the end of the year. Oshinoko, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen are all going to be over by the time we hit 2025. So.
Got it. Well, that makes sense. It felt like it was wrapping up anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that we talked before the podcast that when Oshinoko originally published its first couple of chapters, we were like, oh, I can see this being a kind of a tight little 1-2 year thing. I think it's going to end up lasting about 4 years total, which is still kind of short, I would say, for an ongoing manga. I think, below 200 chapters. I think it's a good
I'm surprised it had the legs to go this long, and it's going strong. Me and Bruce read the first chapter for context, and we were like, oh, this is very interesting, but I don't know how it can be more than 50 chapters.
I mean, I don't think either of us really expected it to just let's break down and attack every version of the Japanese entertainment industry that we can. And it did.
I love it. I love this absolute dissection of the entertainment industry.
Yeah, super good. Cool. That's it for news. let's talk about one more thing. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. I'm a huge Dropout fan. Game Changer is quite possibly not only the greatest improv show ever made, it might also be the greatest game show ever made. It's amazing. If you haven't watched it, check it out. The most recent episode, they published a thing called Ratfish, which is they got, I think, eight improv comedians all created sort of a fake like profile, and they all chatted with each other, and everyone else had to try to guess who was playing which character and who was like actually in the room and stuff. And they did this, and this is like a two-parter, which they don't usually do, and it is hilarious.
That's fun.
Brennan just creates a character called Bug with a big ass. Another Rekha Shankar creates a character that's just an end table. There's like the landlord, who's like a wrestling guy who's a landlord. It's so incredibly funny. I love Dropout. I love Game Changer. It's some of the best entertainment you can consume. So,
you know what? The College Humor crew has gotten funnier as they've gone on.
Dropout is better than College Humor. Like, and I like College Humor stuff, but Dropout is like strictly better. They are doing great stuff.
They're still firing on all cylinders. Yeah. They're great.
Absolutely. All right, tell me what you've been up to.
I'm playing this game called Unicorn Overlord in the interim between Elden Ring DLC. It is, if you've played a game called Ogre Battle, it's a one-of-a-kind combat system that hasn't been done before or after Ogre Battle until Unicorn Overlord. It has done the Ogre Battle combat system. It is also like just a modern iteration on that. So like all of the clunk is gone. It's a very fun game with a very mediocre story.
That's what I've heard.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent combat though. I'm having a great time
because it's like a tactics style, like kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics, right? Similar to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's I compare it more like Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In terms of how it's structured gameplay wise, but you're right. It's very much a tactics like game.
I mean, I heard basically what you were good things about. Like, yeah, if you like tactics games, this is a great one. The story is whatever.
Yeah, the story is like a nothing burger. You'll forget everything about it after you play it.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's it. Let's wrap the show up. Hey, thank you again, everyone, for listening or watching. Don't forget to leave us feedback, comments, upvote. Anything in the top 50 surprised you? Anything that you think belongs there that we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Check out Twitter and Patreon, linked in the description. And thank you for being with us yet again this week. Goodbye.
See you later.
And
bye.
Don't forget to read more manga.